This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 210 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show, Young Pro Roundtable. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Today's sponsors are Equestrian Collections, the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford at equestriancollections.com. And Kentucky Performance Products, supplements done right at kppusa.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
I am still Glenn the Geek after all this time.
And I'm Helena B., and you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Every week we say that, and every week we haven't changed who we are. You know how they say you can't change people? Well, we've been doing this 3.5 years, and nothing's changed.
Well, we got a little older.
Yeah, you have a new horse or two, which we'll have to find out about Brody a little later on in the show to get an update.
Yep, Big B. He's awesome.
Good.
But you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait for details.
All right, so good. Well, you're not separated, no divorce in the offing. No papers have been filed on either part.
No. Oh, no. No. Although things have been flying around the house. Yeah.
That's a different story, though.
Well, I am Italian. Things just fly anyway.
You are very Italian, too. Well, we have a great show planned for everybody this week. We're going to be, you know how, I would say one of the things we hear a lot about here at the Horse Radio Network is teenagers that are coming up. And, you know, every teenager coming up that's a horse crazy girl or guy wants to be a professional rider. That is their ultimate dream. So we thought, let's do a roundtable. We've been enjoying doing these roundtables with people. Let's do a roundtable with a couple of young professional riders who this is what they do, and find out what life is really like for them. You know, what the ups and downs are and what their days are like. And let's help those teenagers out there, those aspiring professional riders, and really learn what it's like for them. You know, I think this is going to be a fascinating conversation. We have a couple of riders. We have a dressage rider coming on who's, I think, 22 or 23 and doing this professionally. And then we also have an eventer who's, I think, in her middle 20s. So they're both really new to their professional riding careers. And then later on in the show, I have a guest coming up for the Tack and Habit segment that you're going to like. This was so cool. We actually met her a while back at ADA, and she's been very persistent in trying to contact us, and she finally did get through, and she sent us a product to test.
Oh, boy. First of all, wait, before you go on, you have to let me say the name of the business when it comes time.
Okay. All right. Yep. And we tested this product, and we're going to hear how it did, and then we're going to get her on the phone to talk about why she invented this particular product. And I'm not going to give you any hints on whether this product tested well or not. That'll be coming up.
I don't even know. You guys get all the good testing.
I wish, I'm trying to find a chocolate company to send us cases of chocolate to test, but I haven't gotten there yet.
How are you doing on your diet?
What diet?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I said. What diet?
We were both so good about that for about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, and then I shredded my knee. What's your excuse?
You shredded your knee, and I just felt sympathy pains and had to start eating with you.
They call that, when you're pregnant, they call that Couvade syndrome, where the husband starts to have similar symptoms as the wife during pregnancy. There's an actual syndrome.
Well, what would it be if it's a co-host?
I don't know. We'll have to look it up. And if it doesn't have a name, we'll give it a name. Because I think it's when you hang out with somebody so much, you definitely start to act like them.
That's bad.
It is bad. In our case, oh my God, we would not be good for each other.
No, not at all. Your Italian this and my ADD, whoo, we'd be out there. Yeah.
Yeah, talk about things flying through the house.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's take a break here for Equestrian Collections Product of the Week, and then we're going to be back with our Young Pro Riders Roundtable. Hi, Glenn, back with you from the Horse Radio Network. I'm here with Debbie with the Equestrian Collections Product of the Week.
This week we're featuring some new exciting breeches that we have in stock right now for the plus-size rider. Equine Couture Plus-Size Coolmax Champion Side Zip. These breeches have a Euro seat. They have the CS2 bottoms, which is that silky material that helps you get the boot, your leg in the boot nice and smoothly. The fabric is 82% nylon, 12% Coolmax, and 6% Lycra. The most comfortable thing you can put on. They're perfect for summer riding. They're perfect for summer shows, and they're in stock right now. We have long and regular sizes, all the way from 36 up to 44. So this is just the perfect summer breech, and we can get it to you right away. Just it's about $79.
Wow,
which
that's
is
a
a
terrific
great
price, Debbie. Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah, so that's the Equine Couture Coolmax Champion Side Zip. You can also shop in our 1824 store to find these breeches and many other products for the plus-size rider.
And, of course, that's all at equestriancollections.com. Well, coming up right now, we're going to get some young professionals on the show with us to have a little roundtable discussion about what it's like to be a professional rider at such a young age. We have Mary Lawrenson coming on. She has been on the Horse Radio Network before. She is a dressage rider out of Boston, up your way. And she rode in the young riders and all of that and came up through the ranks and now is a professional, graduated from college, I believe now, and is riding full-time, and we're going to find out from her what that's like. And then joining in the discussion is Allie Slusher. She is an eventer, lives in Kentucky, and she also came up through the ranks and is now a professional eventer. So we're going to get them both on to talk to both of them about what it's like to be a young professional rider. Well, hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this roundtable discussion here at Stable Scoop.
Hi, Glenn. Good to be back on the show with you.
Well, let's start with Mary, because Mary's an old hat at this. She's been on a couple of our shows now. She's become a full-time broadcaster, I think. I don't know when she has time to ride. But Mary, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I have been riding my entire life, and it's always been dressage for me. Basically, since before I could walk, I was riding ponies and grew up on a farm where my mom was the trainer and had me in the saddle pretty much all of the time. And I did the FEI Juniors, the FEI Young Riders, and then over the last year, after I turned 21, I then had to make the decision if I wanted to go professional, if I wanted to do my riding as an amateur, but I pretty much knew my whole life I wanted to be professional. So here I am. I'm completely submerged in the world of dressage, and I'm a trainer, competitor, coach, and I'm at the barn pretty much all of the time.
Now, you were doing some modeling and some other things like that as well, and I know that you did some videography and things. Are you still doing that, dabbling in that?
When I have time, but I honestly I spend so much time at the barn, and I kind of, that's what's most important to me. So that all went sort of on the back burner, but when I have time, I do those things.
Okay. And Allie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am obviously an eventer, and I, too, have ridden most of my life. And I actually, as a kid, actually had no desire to be a professional and didn't really even know if I was going to really stick with it. And as a teenager, I got a lot more into it, I guess. And then when I went to college and wanted to become an English teacher, actually, and a high school English teacher, and then I went to be a working student when I was 18 or 19, and I got a new horse then, and so I don't know, just a flip was switched, and and sort of my riding took off, and my passion for it really developed. And then I started competing at the upper levels, and I've never looked back since. And after I did that, I started my own business in Northern California as a trainer and a coach. And then I just recently moved about 8 months ago to Kentucky, to Paris, Kentucky. It's just outside of Lexington, and I started a business here, and have spent all my time in the barn and only ride or teach, and I'm loving every minute of it.
You're actually not too far from our co-host of the dressage radio show, Reese Koffler-Stanfield. You're just down the road from her, actually.
Oh, really?
Yep. So she's right there as well. Now, Allie, you I got you as a referral actually from Samantha over at the Eventing Radio Show, our co-host over there. And you know, you've been, as you said, who did you work under, by the way, when you were a working student?
I at first worked under Holly Bennett, the Canadian rider that's based in Southern California. Yep. And then I moved to Pennsylvania and worked for Buck Davidson. And so I've worked for both of them.
Well, you had some good training there. I mean, between the two of them, you had some terrific training.
Yes, I agree. I think they are both wonderful coaches and have been wonderful mentors and good friends to me. So, yes, I feel very fortunate to be close to both of them and to have been able to work and learn under them.
Now, Mary, what are you thinking these days of, well, first of all, how difficult is it to be a professional dressage rider, or is it difficult at all? What are the challenges and what are the benefits?
Well, I mean,
specifically as it pertains to your discipline.
Yeah, well, it's certainly difficult. There's no doubt about that. I think making it in any of the disciplines is very difficult. But dressage, I think especially, is less understood by the greater population. So, for that, there's only a select amount of people that really become dedicated, and there's only so many people out there that are truly interested in it. But as far as the everyday, there's a lot of politics involved and there's a lot of personalities involved. So really the horses are the easiest ones to deal with.
Oh gosh, I always say that.
That's
yeah,
true,
it's never the
many of
horses
them.
that are the problem. It's always the people.
Yeah. But,
I think Allie would agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
And I would say just building a partnership with your horse, it takes so many years, especially to get to the very top of dressage. To make a Grand Prix horse typically takes at least 10 years, if not more. So, I mean, there's a lot of time involved. So there's so many different outlets. So I'd say the time that you have to spend training and networking and, constantly thinking about it and goal setting, all of that makes it very difficult. And as far as it being profession, there are so many good riders out there, so you're constantly trying to find ways to have an upper hand, how you can be stronger in competition, because ultimately it comes down to how good of a communicator you are with your students and really how strong you can be when you're out there showing.
When do you feel like there is, so it's really on the way up, it's getting to that level that would be the most challenging. Yeah.
It is,
but once you're there, I guess, what are your mental goals? Every time you go into, obviously you want to get the best score that you can, but is there a bigger picture then? Once you reach that level, is there a bigger picture within which you want to work or achieve?
Sure, every time. Yeah, every time. I mean, of course, it's different per horse, but I know, for instance, my horse, my Young Rider Grand Prix horse that I've now owned for 10 plus years, my goals with him is very different than this talented young horse that I'm working with. For him, I'm always thinking, I want to get in there and have a really clean test and have it better than the last time. And for the other horse, he's such a superstar that, I know that I'm going to have a great ride on him virtually every time. He's young, so there's always some challenges there. But I think ultimately, no matter what horse you're on, you just want to feel that each time you get out there, you're getting better and that every little bit is improved because there's so much minutia to pay attention to.
Yeah, so you get rewarded by you hit that sweet spot, and there's a million different sweet spots that you can hit on any given ride.
Exactly. Yeah. And as you get further up there, the movements become more and more difficult and you just want to have a sharper, cleaner test every time. But it's also that great feeling too when you come out and you have a clean test, you want to replicate that great feeling between yourself and your horse where you feel like maybe there's always something you can improve, but you also always feel after that last salute that, you come out there and you feel good. And that's something that I'm always shooting for, to have that great feeling at the end.
Allie, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that she has said as far as, the difficulties with it. There are, a set of great riders that are already professionals that have made a name for themselves, and, as being a younger person, trying to break into that is difficult. You have to prove yourself multiple times, to be taken seriously. Not that people don't, but, there's loyalties to certain instructors, and you don't want to infringe on that, but sort of trying to build your own clientele and have people have faith in you as a trainer and an instructor. That takes some time, and that takes some dedication. And I think that being younger, people just assume you probably won't know enough, or won't be good enough, or whatever. And so, trying to prove yourself time and time again, not only teaching and building a good reputation as an instructor, but also as a rider. And it's twofold, because my instruction is just as important to me as my riding and competing. It's a dual business, and I love both aspects of them. And so, you want to build both sides of them equally. And as far as competing, and I think the name of the game is mental toughness, and I think that's in all horse sports, but definitely in eventing, because you do have to perform 3 different phases and stay on your game for 3 different days in a combined score with one horse. And there's a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong. And I think it's important that we have mental toughness to stay safe. And I think it's very necessary to have mental toughness to do well in the dressage. And you're going to have a slightly more tired horse on Saturday for show jumping, so you have to be, mentally prepared and focused on how you're going to give your horse the best ride. And so I think that is something that has been noticed and has been on the rise as far as popularity, and things that we're looking into is our mental game. And I focus a lot on that, and to hope that can be sort of my edge.
Now, I do, there's something that people always wonder, and by the way, it was interesting. Thank you, Mary, for actually bringing up politics and acknowledging that does exist. That is part of the challenge, and it's true whether you're barrel racing or in rodeo or dressage or eventing or jumping, it doesn't matter. Anytime you got more than 2 people in a group, you have politics. Now, what about making money? And this may seem like a dumb question, but I know Helene and I talked about this a little bit. How do you make money? So, Allie, how do you pay the bills?
Praying a lot.
Notice how she started that with.
I've tried praying for 30 years, Allie. It's never worked for me. I don't know.
I mean, no, hours spent doing anything and everything that you can, especially because I came to Kentucky with no business. I didn't know anybody, and I moved to a 100-acre farm with my own horses, which is only bills, and with no clientele. And so I've done everything. I got a job at a restaurant. I teach every lesson that I can. I will ride anything that I can. And I think a very necessary part of our sport is selling horses. I think, to get those larger sums of money, you have to sell horses. You can't keep them all. And then day-to-day lessons and training and work on the sides. And now that I'm around the thoroughbred business a lot more, I'm sort of delving into that, and I'll do yearling prep if I need to, or work the sales if I need to. So I'm definitely going outside of what I guess my ideal would be. Okay, I want to ride these perfect 8 horses a day and teach these 10 great clients a week and make all my bills, but that's not the reality for me now, and it won't be the reality for me for a very long time. So knowing that and knowing what you're going to have to put in, an hour spent, and not being afraid to take that on as a challenge.
So what are we breaking it down to is you're doing anything you can, including the lessons, including training horses, including working side jobs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Mary?
Yeah, I 100% agree with what Allie has to say. It's not enough just to be riding those, 10 horses a day that you know so well. You have to reach outside of your comfort zone and see what other opportunities are out there. And I think everybody can relate. If anybody's been a working student, it's it doesn't just, you don't just go from being a working student to suddenly having a whole lot of income coming your way. You know, it takes time to really build your name and for people to be willing to pay you for training or for lessons or for anything for that matter. So you have to be willing to reach out and see what's available to you to make some extra income, because we all know that there's so many bills when you own your own horse especially, and trying to feed yourself on top of that's important. I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunities out there as well, you know, to go out there and find those that need help, whether it's finding another trainer and, you know, helping them work some of their horses. Or in my case, I felt really fortunate that just as I came out of Young Riders and I decided that I wanted to do this professionally full time, I was given the job as an assistant trainer. And for that, I've had some financial stability, because the professional that I work under has really, you know, put me under her wing and helps me out in a lot of ways, because she recognizes how a young person like ourselves can struggle, especially when you're doing what we do every day, where there's so much expense involved, especially if you're out there competing on top of it all. So it's definitely true. You can't just stay in your comfort zone. You have to get out there and push to find ways to make it all financially easy for yourself.
That is true. Going outside of your comfort zone. I mean, it's a business, and you forget that you are your service, or you are the commodity, and you have to treat yourself as such, which can be hard. You know, it sounds like you come from a place of not a lot of professional riders or even trainers and instructors have that vision, you know, can see the big picture and say, okay, I really need to just do a little here, do a little there, even things that I'm not 100% comfortable with. It doesn't mean that your entire career is going to be filled with those uncomfortable types of services, but
exactly.
You do have to be willing to say, hey, listen, you know, you spread yourself kind of thin, because you have to, and it's hard because at the end of the day you go home and you're like, holy cow, I can't even get in the shower. But so you spread yourself a little bit thin, but then that starts to narrow down as you develop some credibility for yourself, B, you get some more clients, and you know, a couple of cash cows in there never hurt. And then you start to also realize what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with.
Right. And there comes a time, yeah, for sure. And there comes a time where I think you're recognized for your strengths, and you can build upon that, whether it's, you know, training horses. Perhaps you go out on a limb and you train a more difficult horse that no one else is willing to take, and other people then recognize that, hey, this girl really knows what she's doing. I'm going to send my horse to her, and there's another, you know, business opportunity right there. So everything starts to just sort of fall around you if you put yourself out there.
And you know what? Those guys bounce better when they're that age, and you know, the broken bones, they recover faster. So
funny enough, I completely agree that like people figure out what is your, maybe not your niche, you know, like like problem horses. For me, I had 2 upper level mares, and now magically I have 15 mares in the barn. I've been sent mares because people have seen that I like mares. And it's not that I don't like geldings. I wish I had more geldings. I really love geldings. But because there was, you know, a kind of a negative feeling towards mares with some people, then they find, you know, people that own mares find someone that really loves them and really can work with them. And then it turns out I had majority mares, which I have no complaints about. It's just people see what you work with and sort of form to you.
Boy, I pity her neighbor. She has the noisiest barn in Kentucky.
Are they all redheads too?
Oh boy,
I've got a few redheads. I've got like 4 matching chestnut mares. It's funny, but I do have more bays than chestnuts. But I have no problem with a chestnut mare. I am not biased to anything really in general, except the fact that I love working with a mare attitude, and that doesn't slow me down.
Yeah, you got to admit, the girls are hard workers. You got to admit.
Absolutely.
We are.
Absolutely.
Now, you guys, what about a social life? What do these young aspiring teenagers have to look forward to?
There's that giggle again.
Yeah, you travel a lot, and you know, do you have a social life?
You make time for it where you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I was in California, it was a different business. I had a farm owner, and I was just the trainer there, and that was sort of how I started out. And it was a little bit easier, just just as far as breaking into the sport, it was on a smaller scale, and I competed all the time. Like every other weekend I was gone. And now that I moved to Kentucky, I sort of had to take a step back because I was starting my very own business on my own property that I had to learn a whole lot of business sense that I did not know before, as far as just dealing with clients and boarding and who wants what hay, and that aspect has taken a lot more time, and it's definitely a lot more stressful. So I don't have nearly as much time. Plus, I work at a restaurant at night, so for a long time, my social life has been non-existent. And like she said, if you have a night off, yeah, you'll go out and have a good time, but you can't really go out and have too good of a time because you have to get up and work the next day. So,
and you have to get up early. It's not like you can roll in at 9 o'clock, which really in the horse world is half your day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Waste half the day then.
Yeah.
There's always Facebook.
Yes. Amen. Amen. And there's a way too. This is one of the things that's good and bad about having a career in the horse world, is that you can sort of integrate social interaction with your professional life, because you know like with any job, you're social at work, and it's just like I said, it's good and it's bad, but at least you're surrounded by other people who like what you do as well. You share the same passion, which is a plus. That's half the battle, I think, sometimes in establishing relationships.
Yeah, and I mean, my mantra is work hard, play hard. So when you're out at the horse shows, you're surrounded by all of your friends and your peers.
So, Allie, if you had some advice to give that teenage girl coming up, what would you have done differently to get to the point you have, or what would you like to tell them?
It's so hard to say what I would have done differently. I love where I'm at. Like, I wouldn't change where I'm at for anything now. And just because I have very stressful days and stressful weeks doesn't mean I would change what I'm doing. I sometimes I'm writing, I'm like, man, it would be so nice to go back to being a working student and go to Europe and live that life and try that, because there's lots of people my age that do that and get to the same end goal, just in a different route. But this is the path that I've chosen, and I love it. And so, I can't say what I necessarily would have done differently. If I didn't own so many horses, yeah, I would at some point like to go work for someone in Europe, but at this point that's not an option for me. So, take the time and be a working student. You're not going to make it if you're not a working student for at least one or two people, and that's where you learn, one, hard work, and two, all the ins and outs of the business. And so I think that's one huge aspect of it. Learn what you can from the people that you look up to, because it's not what they say, it's what they do that's going to teach you the most about what you do and don't want to be like. And don't be afraid to work hard. It's going to be harder than you think. And everybody fair warned me that this was going to be harder than I thought, and it has been. And it's not like I wasn't fair warned, but it's all been worth it so far.
And Mary?
Well, I think Allie said a lot of great things there, and I agree. One of the best things you can do is search for the opportunities out there, whether it's becoming a working student or, going over to Europe and seeing what opportunities lay over there if you really want to take this seriously and become a professional. But I think the bottom line is investing time in yourself and in your education before you go out there and declare yourself as a professional. Give yourself plenty of time to develop as a rider and take advantage of all the great professionals we have here in the U.S. and what's available overseas. And once you feel that you have all of that backing and you really have worked hard, I mean, you can never work hard enough. But once you're at that point and someone sort of gives you the go-ahead and takes you under their wing, then that's the time that you can really start to pursue it as a professional. But I think the key is to really take your time and invest in your own education.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being here and give us some insight into what it's like to be a young professional rider.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Mary, do you have a website or not?
I do.
Okay.
I do. My website's www.marybonick, that's BAHNIUK, Lauritsen, LAURITSEN.com.
Okay,
my
and
full
Allie?
name.
It is Flusher Eventing, SLUSHER, eventing.com.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, now, Helena, tell us the truth. Now, I know you started into horses a little bit later. You weren't necessarily into the teenage years because you kind of lived in the city. But what now that you got into riding, you really went deep into fox hunting and all of that. Did you ever have aspirations of being a professional rider?
Yeah, I did. I did think that at some point, because I had met some really inspiring professional role models, and I adore Margie Goldstein, Nona Garson. A lot of the show jumpers are the sort of the professional riders that I had met early on in my riding life, and I was just really inspired by what they could do. And then when we started talking, when we spoke to Gina Miles, and looking at all these professional riders who are older than me, I was like, I could do that. I could get there. I could definitely do that. If I had nothing else to do, if I had no family, no job, I just had to smile and get sponsorship money, maybe I could be a pro rider.
I don't know that there are professional fox hunters, though. Well, there are.
Well, no, I wanted to be an eventer. I still want to event. I wanted to go up to the highest levels of eventing. That was sort of my goal. And then I saw some of those jumps at Rolex.
Changed your mind pretty quick.
I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good down here on the ground. Thanks.
And then you switched to dressage, right? Safer, not as high at jumps.
No, I still like jumping. I mean, it's and you know what? The goals changed. Professional rider one day, and now it's just I'd like to get over, a 2.6 jump without falling off my horse's neck. But I do know a lot of young girls who do have dreams of becoming a professional rider, of not just like teaching lessons or being involved in the horse world in some way in their career, but actually riding as a professional, getting paid to ride. And the other thing is, I know some very talented riders who are not pros at riding, or they're amateurs, or they have they work in a barn, or they're managing a stable, who I think would be amazing as professional riders. So I think this is a really interesting conversation. It's a very relevant topic.
Terrific. Well, if you have a young rider in your life out there, or a youngster that wants to become a professional rider, have them listen to this episode. I think this would be a good one for them to refer back to. Well, it's time now for our Kentucky Performance Products Supplement lesson, and we're back with Karen from Kentucky Performance Products, who's going to give us another sort of a lesson here on supplements. We call it Supplement 101. Hi, Glenn the Geek here from the Horse Radio Network, and I'm here with Karen from Kentucky Performance Products with a sensible supplementing tip of the week. And this is part 2, talking about senior horses. Last week we talked about the ones who can't keep weight on, and this week we're talking about everybody's dream horse, the Easy Keeper. Now, sometimes that causes its own set of problems, which we're going to talk about today. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Glenn. How are you today?
Okay, so when we talk about easy keepers, we mean seniors that don't have any trouble keeping weight on, but yet that has its own set of issues, doesn't it?
Well, it does, because, people call us all the time and go, my gosh, what am I going to feed this horse? He lives on air.
We have one of those.
Enough grain. I know, you have one, Beaker.
Yep.
And it's really frustrating. Again, like we talked about last time, it's so important for these older horses to have enough fiber in their diet. And, if you have a 1,000-pound fat little quarter horse, how do you feed them 20 pounds of hay a day? And, you need to try to get at least 15 to 20 pounds of hay in them. And what most people do and what they've figured out is that you have to buy a lower quality hay. Of course, with lower quality hay, you have to worry about mold and dust and so on. So it's really important to find a source of somebody that will give you a mature Timothy or one of the other grass hays that doesn't have as much energy per pound in it, and get a good mature source and have that in front of your horse all the time so he has that long-stemmed hay to chew. Many of these older horses, senior horses, and horses that are easy keepers cannot tolerate much grass, if any at all. So there's a couple of things, and also they can't tolerate a lot of grain. So right there you have some big holes in their diet. because hay only has so many vitamins and minerals in it. And then, of course, the more mature hay, which is what you want to feed these guys because they don't need the energy, has even less vitamins and minerals in it. So the important thing to do is to find a good, balanced vitamin mineral supplement that you can add to their diet. Some people are fortunate enough that they can get one of those like light feeds, and they can feed enough of that. If you feed it at the recommended level that they tell you to, however many pounds that is, usually it's around 5 pounds a day, then your horse should be getting the complete complement of vitamins and minerals. But if you can't feed the recommended amount of concentrate, say if you're feeding half or if you're feeding, a handful of grain a day, then your horse is not getting the vitamins and minerals he needs. And you have to provide that. You have to fill that gap with a vitamin and mineral supplement.
We would have that. Geez, if we fed Beaker 5 pounds a day, he would be the size of a house.
Yeah. I mean, I had a quarter horse that was like that too, and I was competing him. So it was a real challenge to try to get the vitamins and minerals, and he really needed it. And when horse is just eating hay alone, you start to notice that their coat starts to get dull, and they just don't look very good. So finding a good, well-balanced vitamin and mineral supplement will really help. The other thing that's very, very important and is missing from a horse that's eating an all-forage diet, especially an all-hay diet, is natural vitamin E. And natural vitamin E, the research is becoming more and more apparent through the research that horses really need this nutrient. It's an essential nutrient. It would have been in their natural diet in the grass. It's an essential nutrient. They don't make it themselves, so you have to provide it for them. And if it's not there, then horses will have lots of problems. The vitamin E is an antioxidant that supports all the systems in the body, and if it's not there, then horses will have a lot of trouble. So it's important to give your horse a vitamin E supplement as well.
Now, we use, for Beaker, who's our very easy keeper quarter horse, we use Microphase, which is a Kentucky Performance product.
Yes, it is, and Microphase was developed specifically for that purpose. I was like, okay, what am I going to give this horse of mine that, can live on air? It also has natural vitamin E in it, Microphase, and it's very important to use natural vitamin E. Many feeds and supplements will use synthetic vitamin E, which is a petroleum-based product, and it is not absorbed as well in the horse as natural vitamin E, which is plant-based. The synthetic vitamin E has a much more complicated molecular structure, so it's not absorbed as well. So you want to look for a natural vitamin E when you're looking for a vitamin E supplement.
And that's Microphase. And you have a second one, too, that could be beneficial for the older easy keeper.
We do. That's the Elevate Maintenance Powder. And that's a natural vitamin E. And it's you just feed 7 grams a day, which, it's hard for people to relate to what a gram is, but it's this tiny little scoop. And one jar lasts 130 days. And you need to feed around 1,000 to 2,000 IUs of natural vitamin E a day to a horse that's on an all-forage diet. And it's just hanging out. If they're exercising, you have to increase it more because as the horse exercises more, their antioxidant requirements go up. But for a horse that's just hanging out and doing light trail riding, just 1,000 to 2,000 IUs is sufficient.
Terrific. Well, you can find out more about both of those products at Kentucky Performance Products. Their website is kppusa.com, and they have some terrific articles in there also under the Tips and Topics section. And we also encourage you to follow them on Facebook. Just search for Kentucky Performance Products, because Karen is always putting all kinds of good information up there, too, about horse health and nutrition. And you can find it all, again, at kppusa.com. And now it is time for Tack and Habit, everybody. All right, Lena, I now promised you the chance to say this name first. Our Tack and Habit product of the week is...
Oh my God, it's the cutest name ever. Pink Pony Bakery.
That is correct.
I mean, it's nothing. It's not like nothing verbally amazing, but I just like to say Pink Pony.
Well,
And it's a bakery, so it's Pink Pony food.
if you go to their website at
Horses.
pinkponybakery.com, you're going to see their cute little mascot is a pink baker pony. He's a pink pony that bakes with a little baker hat. Well, they actually had the stuffed animals made that looks exactly like that. And there are the cutest little horsey stuffed animal I've ever seen. Little pink pony stuffed animals. And the nice lady Brenda from the bakery sent us a whole box of treats to see if they would be Beaker approved.
Okay. They look people approved.
They
I want to
do.
eat them.
Because she bakes some cupcakes and she bakes donuts. I mean, this bakery bakes stuff, cookies that they look like donuts, they look like cupcakes, they look like cookies, and they are crack for horses. Let's get her on the line so I can tell her how this went at her house. I still haven't let her know how we did.
Oh, she
over
doesn't
here.
know
No.
that whether it was approved or not.
So we're gonna let
So
her
wait.
know how it went. Yeah,
So were they approved?
we'll find out coming
Wow.
up. Well, thank you so much, Brenda, for joining us, and thank you for sending the big box of baked treats for our horse.
Oh, I'm glad to do that for you.
Well, let me tell you, the results are in. Now we have
Okay, let me hear.
We have thoroughly tested this,
Drum roll.
and I'll tell you what. Now you sent us a whole variety of goodies. You sent us the
Yes, I did.
cupcakes. You sent us the donuts. You sent us the cookies. We
Right.
had a whole variety. Well, let me tell you what happened when we first opened the box. The cat went crazy. The cat went nuts and wanted to be in the box.
That's a new one.
That wanted to be in the box, wanted to be all over the box, would not let Jennifer alone. The cat was screaming. Our cat absolutely loves Pink Pony Bakery.
Well,
And-
I think that's great.
And now we put the empty box from the post office sat on the desk, and the cat keeps trying to get in it, even though there's nothing in it, but it smells good.
I bet it smells great.
So it is cat approved, number one.
Oh,
the
that's
beast,
good.
The Beast likes Pink Pony Bakery treats. And then the dog had to get involved. So I can honestly say that the dog loves Pink Pony Bakery treats. We never even got a chance to get out to the horse before those two chiped in. So,
That's great.
so now we're approved by two of the members of the animal
Okay.
family here at the farm. So then we had to go out to Beaker. Now, Beaker is picky. He doesn't like carrots. He doesn't like normal things that you would think a horse would like.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
not even fond of apples a whole lot. So
Brody's the same way. He's not a big fan of carrots and apples either.
he went crazy for the Pink Pony treats. He
Awesome.
just went nuts for it.
Awesome.
He will give up grass, which is a hard commodity to come by here in Florida. But we have a neighbor that has a grass lot, and he goes out there twice a day, and he just will give up grass for these. He loves these things, and we've tried them all now, and there isn't one he doesn't like. And Jennifer calls it his crack. This is pony crack. So she has a new name for Pink Pony treats, and that is pony crack. She
Oh,
said
that's
he's
awesome.
addicted to these. Just
Great.
loves them. Now, she went down the road on a ride one day, and we have lots of people. We're in an equestrian neighborhood. So she has now officially tested with multiple horses in the neighborhood who are just hanging out by the fence. And I'm sure their owners love when we feed them stuff. And there wasn't a horse here that didn't like these. And
Great.
our sister-in-law's horse, she has a mare, a quarter horse mare, loves these treats. So far, you have 100% approval across the board.
I love it. I love it.
It is. These are good stuff. The horses
Thank you.
just love them. I don't know what you have in there. Maybe there is crack in them. We're not sure.
It's a secret recipe. It's a secret recipe. And the premise behind Pink Pony Bakery is, I came up with a little story that the Pink Pony Bakery, the Pink Pony Riding Academy, all the horses who were in the academy were getting tired of the dry, yucky treats. Everybody was feeding them. So in the middle of the night, they snuck up into the main house from the barn, and they made their own treats. Thus, Pink Pony Bakery treats were born.
And I, Helena, have Pinkerton
See?
sitting right
and
here
that
on
Pinkerton
my
is the head
desk.
baker.
Yeah.
It kind of paralleled my life, traveling with my daughter from show to show. She did the hunters and equitation, and we were gone a lot of the time. And we loved our horse so much, and so we thought, well, let's try to find some fun treats for the horse. We love arrows and couldn't find anything. So one day, sitting home alone, I thought to myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make these myself. Didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my husband, didn't tell the kids. I didn't tell anybody. And I spent months developing a recipe. When I finally did, the name came to me. I don't even know where it came from. I told my husband, and he said, "What?" and now he loves it. He's my biggest fan. He thinks it's fabulous. I developed then I got the logo done. I had a theme song done.
By the way, we're going to play the theme song to play the show out today. So stay to the very end of the show.
Great.
And
Yay.
You're going to hear the theme song at the very end of the show today. But you actually went to the expense also of having your head baker, Pinkerton, which is a pink pony with the little chef's hat, the cutest little stuffed animal. You actually had stuffed animals made, and you sent us one along, and we're going to post pictures on our Facebook page, too.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Yeah, because I took pictures of all this. So, I mean, you really went all out here. What other cookie company has a theme song?
I don't know.
None. I can tell you.
None, because he looked.
It happened that my son, who's a computer whiz, had helped on a website with the rock band in Los Angeles. And somehow they looked on his website and saw that he had done Pink Pony Bakery, so they decided to do the theme song for it. And it's called AM Radio. It's from a big label in Los Angeles, and they just did it for me. And they even used it as their hold music. Like when people would call into the record label and put on hold, Pink Pony Bakery song was played. Which was awesome. I mean, people just love Pink. They love ponies, and this has just been great. It's been taking off. So.
Well, that's terrific. Are they in stores now?
They're in stores. They're in stores in New Hampshire, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee. Collierville Saddlery takes them around to shows with them. I sell on the website. I do horse shows once in a while. They're given out as prizes at horse shows. So starting to take off. And I love it. Every treat is homemade. They're handmade. And every time we wrap up a box, we cannot wait for whoever ordered it to get it because we're still so excited about the treats. So.
You know, it is cute, Helena. They come in the donuts come in a little donut box like you'd get at Dunkin' Donuts.
I know. I'm looking at the pictures. I want to eat them.
Some people do, and some people do. I'm probably the only person who works around them who has not tried them.
I'm particularly interested in the peppermint horse treats. Those with the crunch, they look really good. Those seem to be the most popular. Those are the biggest sellers. People like the peppermint nuggets. But I've had people tell me that I have some people who buy it in bulk, and one time their horses got out of their fence, and they were running toward the road, and they got the Pink Pony Bakery bucket out and shook it, and the horse stopped and came back. So basically, Pink Pony Bakery treats save lives. That's it. It's all anybody needs to hear is they stopped and came back.
Now, I don't think these look like they probably don't have a real high nutritional value. These are definitely a treat. Or could I be wrong?
No, they're a treat, but they're wholesome. There's nothing bad in them. They're very wholesome. I have the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. They come to the bakery.
Oh, really?
They check the bakery. They check the treats. They send them away for analysis.
Huh.
They come once a year. I mean, it's very, very well organized. I have to have a license. I've licensed in other states where I sell. So it's not that you can't just like start making treats and sell them. There are a lot of rules to follow.
I didn't know
licenses to keep up with.
I didn't know that. Did you know that, Helena? I thought that the treat companies were just making treats.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like Ohio is different than Pennsylvania. Their packaging requirements are different, so you send them, and they get them approved, and you have a license. Some are good for life, some are yearly. So it's a huge undertaking, but it's worth it, and I love it. I love horses. I love horse people. The thought of kids walking into the barn with a box of Pink Pony Bakery treats is just thrilling for me.
Well, that's terrific. You can find these at pinkponybakery.com. They come Beaker, Glory, and the Beast approved.
So I love it.
We have 3 members of the animal kingdom that absolutely love these things. And as I said, the cat just will not let this box alone. We use it to tease him now, actually.
Oh, I love it.
Well, this is good job, and you did it for a good cause to help your daughter's show career. And we've talked about those moms before, Helena. We've talked about those hunter moms before that have to sit and watch their daughters go round and round and round, and they have lots of time to think. And this is what comes out of that thinking as they're watching their daughters.
Exactly.
Yes, it's true.
And
it's true.
and we do anything for our kids. And my daughter she was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes when she was 11. In fact, we were at a horse show. She was riding a pony at the time, and I knew something was wrong. And so she, has been insulin dependent since she was 11. And I thought, boy, I don't want to tell her there's anything that she cannot do. And she went all the way to qualify for medal finals and everything. And I'm really proud of her. And
what's her name? Give her a shout out.
Leslie Carroll.
All right.
Woohoo!
Terrific. Good job. Good job. She probably kills her. You're here baking all this good stuff with sweet molasses and things, and she can't have it.
Exactly.
That's all right. It's
but
not
boy,
good
she
for
loves
her.
she loves to feed her horse with it. That's for sure.
Well,
That's
And
all that.
love horses. And I love people who love their horses. So we need to treat them every day.
Okay, so I'll just eat the horse treats. I don't. They don't have to be
we
human.
almost tried them. I think they're just molasses and sugar and really good stuff. But
Yeah, so why not?
It's crack for horses. That's
Well,
what
it would be crack for me too.
I mean, Beaker, when we put him next door, he has to go next door to the neighbor's house to get grass because our paddocks are totally under trees, so there's not a lot of grass. So twice a day he gets to go over for an hour to the neighbor's, which is perfect for him because he's such a fatty. And, we could not get him to come out of the grass. When we go over to catch him, you'd have to walk up to him, and then he'd walk away. We started feeding him these things, and he comes running over to the gate full tilt now because he just loves these. It's better than grass. So that tells you they're approved.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Right.
Good stuff. Well, how about your horse? How's he doing? Apparently he's a keeper.
He is a keeper. I will tell you, he's a dream. He's a dreamboat. I never thought I could get so lucky. I've been posting my updates, Brody and the Bee, on Stable Scoop. I think chapter 4 is up next, and we're going on little adventures together, and he's really helping me regain my confidence one ride at a time. And there's stuff that I have to figure out about him. He's got a history that I don't really know about. And so there's a few confidence issues there, but I tell you, he's just he's such a solid citizen and a love to have in the barn. Very people friendly, very affectionate, very chill. My vet adores him. And I had her come out and do like hock x-rays and a full wellness exam and, egg counts, stool samples, all that stuff, just to make sure that he could do what I wanted him to do. And she thinks that he is absolutely physically fine for hunting. He will be great out in the hunt field.
Terrific.
So, as long as he doesn't get too crazy out there, he might be just fine. I might be able to get back to hunting.
Now, how far is the nearest hunt from where you are?
Well, they have a couple of meets down here in Westport, Massachusetts, which is right on the border. Little Compton is on one side of the state border, and then Westport's on the other side of the border. So they have a few meets down there, but Norfolk Hunt is about an hour and 15 minutes away. And then, you know what? If he's really good at it, I wouldn't have any problem trucking back up to Myopia for a weekend and hunting with them.
You'd have to stay over. That's a couple-hour drive.
Yeah, but it's 2 hours, and I have friends with barns. So if I can truck him up, I can go up on a Friday or something and stay over. He's got a place where he can be turned out and come home the next day.
You can go up and show off your creamsicle hunting horse.
He is the cutest. Oh, he's such a love. He loves Gino, the cat, our orange kitty. Loves him.
Oh,
and
really?
so he woofles him, but then he wants to give him love bites. And Gino's like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I like you too. You're big. I'm not afraid of you, but yeah, don't be biting me.
And how's the dog, your big dog that's the size of a pony, get along?
She doesn't want to come near the barn.
No.
No, she's like, I'll just wait out here. Thanks, Mom. I'll wait on the porch for you to be done. Yeah.
She's
and if they
your dog has horse husband syndrome?
Well, remember, she got kicked in the head.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she's
just done with that.
Yeah. But I do have to tell you that my old buddy Pie is in heaven with his new owner, and he's been actually doing pony camp up there
really?
at Carnegie Abbey. Yes. Like trucking around the little beginner kids.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I knew he had it in him. He just needs to be in a place where he's in a regular program, getting ridden, getting loved with someone who understands him, just getting, regular attention and work.
That's amazing, actually. I never thought the Standardbred Arab Cross would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I had faith.
Well, you found a right home for him. That was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So you can feel proud that you did that. That's terrific. Well, good job with Brody. I'm glad you found yourself a soulmate. You needed one of those.
Yeah, you're not kidding me.
I mean, if I remember right, it was only about 3 months ago that before we did the one show, you said, that's it. I'm done with horses. I'm getting out of the horse business. I'm quitting everything, and I'm not going back.
Oh, I was this close. I'm like, I got to find a new hobby. Golf, maybe. Something.
Something that doesn't win you and come up lame.
I could, I did. Yeah, right. I did say to myself, if I do have to get out of horses, I'm getting myself a really nice fancy car. And then I'm going to go out shoe shopping. With all the friggin' money that I spent on my horses, can you imagine the shoe collection I could have?
Yeah, but then you'd really have nothing to do with them. I mean,
I'd walk around in them. I would drive my car in them. That's what I would do.
This is much more satisfying. Having a horse is much more satisfying.
Oh, it is. It is.
Well, terrific. Congratulations, Helena.
Thank you very much.
Good job. Well, that's it for this week. We're out of time. We'll be back again next week here on Stable Scoop. Don't forget you can hear all the shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com, and you can catch all of our show notes if you're looking for a link for one of the guests that we've had in the past. Just go to Stable Scoop and use the search button at the top and search for the guest name or company name or whatever, and it'll pop up, and you can find links to any of our guests right there in our show notes at stablescoop.com.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Equestrian Collections, as always, and Kentucky Performance Products.
And that's it for this week, Helena.
There will be more next week. Happy scooping.